What's going on? Got Grandpa Rob here. Gonna tell you a little story that you probably know, but maybe you should sit your young kids around so they can listen to the story also. I always say and preach, don't let anybody ever drive your car. Your car should be like your underwear. You're the only one that drives it. I know people say, well, I got in coverage, I got full coverage insurance, and full coverage insurance is good until something happens to it and you got a $500 deductible or a $1,000 deductible and you don't got renter's insurance, and then you're without a car, and whoever was driving it can say, well, here's your money for your deductible, or here's your money to rent the car. You're going to be stuck anyways. And this right here is a car that I know the person treats like it's their baby. Every service record's done on it. Why is a shade tree mechanic working on it? Because the mechanic shop's closed, and I know I'm, pretty decent at stuff, so I could figure it out. So, but the thing is, the problem wasn't a mechanical problem. Well, we were out of town, and somebody else was using the car, and they may not have known. Nobody may have known. Heck, my wife may have not even known. But it's really, really, really hard to disbelieve that somebody did not hear that something hit the bottom of the car and tore the heat shield off and grabbed onto the rear brake line and kinked the rear emergency brake line. So now there's rubbing on the rear emergency brake line because the line's completely pulled and out of joint right now, and the heat shield was completely kind of mangled, so I had to use a hammer and put up the heat shield. But if the car, nobody ever drove the car, we would have known exactly what happened and how it happened and everything. So something like that with the brake, it's going to cause premature wear on that rear tire until we replace that main line. But another story is why you shouldn't let anybody use your car is I'm out in the streets every day doing my regular job, and I see a lot of things, and there's this one lady that would drive her little car to work, and she'd stop, and she's home. Actually, she was home health, so she could be in trouble, so I wouldn't say who it was, but the people were good people. So she would drive her car, and she'd go in and do her job or whatever, drive her car, go in and do her job on a daily basis. Well, then recently I noticed there was this little hood rat, and he was, she was driving around with him leaning all the way back in the seat, and when she was at work, he would drop her off, and he'd take her car. Drop her off, he'd take her car. I mean, the guy, you could tell he didn't have a job. He was up to no good, and I mean, maybe it was her first boyfriend, I don't know. Okay, so then I see her walk into work, and I says, hey, what happened? She said, my boyfriend crashed my car. I said, what? So what it was is he crashed on the driver's side corner, and actually he messed up the tie rods, and the tire was bent and everything. And believe it or not, I've seen her car later on that day, and the guy and his friend had the car jacked up on the passenger side, and they were trying to pull the fender out. And then they were actually fixing what they broke on the tie rod or whatever else broke underneath there. They were fixing it on the side of the street, and somebody don't know what the hell they're doing when they got a pair of vice grips and a hammer, and that's like the tools they were using to work on her car. So anyways, yes, they did get her car rolling again with a smashed up fender. So needless to say, he was driving her to work. Now he was driving her to work in her messed up car, and he would be sitting on the front porch of her job. I'm like, you know what, this is her job, and granted, the senior citizen's probably in there sleeping, but you shouldn't be at her job. Now she got this messed up car that you did, that you ain't fixing it because the fender's still not fixed. And then on top of that, he finally broke up with her anyways, maybe because she didn't have a car, because her car broke down all the way. Now she's walking to work every day. So, I mean, maybe she had insurance, didn't have enough money for the deductible. Maybe, he didn't have enough money for a deductible, which is more than likely. She didn't have enough money for a new car. But here she is, in love, letting somebody else drive her car. I tell everybody all the time, do not let anybody drive your car. What you don't realize is if you do have a nice car, but you drive pretty far back and forth to work, you run up the mileage on the engine. And if they're going to have to get in an accident, they got to total out your car, they're going to go off the mileage on your engine to give you your check. So if you're just driving this one here, this one there, that one all over the place, your kids got driving all over the place, they're running down that mileage. So if you do have to replace that car, the mileage is going to be so high that you're going to get less money in the blue book value. Not only that, tires need to be replaced, oil changed every 3 to 5,000 miles. Who's pitching in for that? So either way, that's my thing. That's my gripe, because I'm working on a car right now that I know wasn't done by the people that own the car, and I've just recently seen the exact same thing happen on a different level, where the car is just replaced and people have to walk back and forth for it. So either way, don't let anybody drive your car. All right, bye.